Is this the lighting? Because see, this is why I need a team. But it's cool though, because I won't be doing this by myself for long. I'll be in a studio, so filming this with people. Wardrobe. May I have some water? Water? Thank you. All right, let's do this for real.
Don't you know you are enough? You're worth the love you're dreaming of. Hold your crown, don't let it down, 'cause destiny is where you're bound. Chin up, no head down. Believing is a must. No, don't give up. You gotta trust. You are enough.
Hey everybody, welcome to the premiere of Tuesday Tidbits with Rachel. It has been a long 6 months since you've seen me on your timeline like this, but I am back and I am here to stay. I took some time away to get me together, rediscover my purpose, and really figure out how to be intentional with this platform that I've been given. Needless to say, 2020 was a rough year, but thank God we made it through, okay? I lost several family members. I lost a job. I moved 3 times. I got another job, child. It was just a lot. But I am back and I am better than ever, so let's get into it. Recently, I was in a clubhouse room and the question was asked, if you could give your younger self any piece of advice, what would it be? And immediately I said, never settle. So that's this week's tidbit, never settle. Looking back at 2020, there was a lot of opportunities for me to settle, but I didn't. I kept moving, I kept fighting, and it was one of the hardest things that I absolutely ever had to do. In May of 2020, I started going back to therapy because I kind of felt myself slipping into this mindset of settling, and I was like, nope, we can't do that, because I had already made some big girl decisions in 2020, and it wasn't until after I made those decisions that I was like, ooh, child, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I had already done them. Like, we're here now. So I was just so unhappy that I was like, okay, whatever I can get to make the experience better, let's just do that. But there was so much more that God wanted me to do that he absolutely did not let me settle. Now, I've never been somebody that likes change. I lived in Baton Rouge for 10 years, and at the beginning of 2020, I was like, you know what? I need a change. There were some things and some people that I was involved with that I was like, you know what? I have to leave. So I told God that the change I needed was geographical. And I made those decisions based off emotions. I was running. And those are absolutely not reasons why you want to make big decisions. I made the decision and I packed my bags and I moved to San Antonio, Texas. And from day one, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I cried from Baton Rouge all the way to San Antonio. I cried the first night in my apartment. I had talks with myself and I was like, you have to make the best of this experience. But I knew it was wrong. So there was no way that I could enjoy it. I thought putting distance between me and the things that I was going through and dealing with, I thought it would make my life easier. But what I had to realize was what I had to deal with was me. There were things internally that I had to straighten out in order to get me to this point. And now I wholeheartedly believe that I'm exactly where God has destined me to be or wants me to be at this point in my life. In San Antonio, I felt alone. I felt isolated. But sometimes God has to get you away from the noise. God has to get you away from the distractions to really rebuild you from the inside out. And that's what he did for me. After being in San Antonio for 2 months, literally 2 months, I got fired from my job. It's really not funny, but look, I was devastated, y'all. I was hurt. Like, I did the Mariah Carey wall slide. Like, I was sick. And it wasn't until I did my self-reflection that I realized that God uprooted me from that situation because I was willing to settle for a salary that was beneath me. I was willing to settle for mistreatment. I was willing to settle for, with staying in my current role when I knew there was a promotion that I absolutely deserved. And God was like, you know what? We aren't doing this. I have more for you. There's more I need you to do. There's more I need you to see. There's places I need you to go. I got to get you out of here. So in that moment, to be honest, y'all, I was lost. I was scared. I had bills to pay. Okay, I didn't have any money saved. I had just moved And I'm such a stubborn person. I had always said that I would never move back to Dallas. And what did I have to do? Move back to Dallas. I moved in with my parents. And I want to put a pin in this story really quickly, because you ever seen the old movies where like the families, they go on hikes and stuff and they like leave the little breadcrumbs or like something on the trail so they know how to get back? Well, God left me breadcrumbs, and he didn't leave me breadcrumbs so I could get back to a certain place. He was leaving me little things so that I knew he was with me as I moved forward. So 2 weeks before I had to move out of my apartment, I got a phone call. And long story short, 98% of my federal student loan debt got canceled. Out the blue, don't gotta pay it. Like, it's gone. In that moment, I went back to the times in which I tried to purchase a home. There was 2 homes that I tried to purchase in Baton Rouge. And the hurdle that I just couldn't seem to get over was my student loans. I was a week out from the closing table on both deals, and they both fell through. It was just like I was willing to settle for having the minimum qualifying credit score. I was willing to settle for having the highest interest rate. I was willing to settle for, having the highest note. And God said, you know what? I can't let you do that because I have more for you. I have to get you somewhere and show you that I am God, and show you that as an heir to the King, you have an inheritance that is greater than the things that you are willing to settle for. And I was just like, okay, God, I see you. I hear you. Let's go. So I moved back to Dallas, and I started doing Instacart and Shipt, just to kind of try to stay on top of my bills. And I was interviewing like crazy. I was interviewing for jobs in cities like Houston, Austin. I was like, okay, God, do I need to move back to Baton Rouge? And then I was getting offers left and right, and I was turning them down. From the outside, you looking in like, okay, girl, you don't have a job. You living at home with your parents. How dare you turn down a job? But God had been with me and had been present so much so in my life that I knew that those just weren't the opportunities. I wasn't going to settle just because I needed money. I wasn't going to settle just because I was 2 months behind on my car note. Like, I just couldn't. And then finally, I got an offer. It was from a company that immediately recognized my value. They immediately showed me that they valued my experience and my knowledge in the industry that I work in. God was just like, see, that's what'll happen when you wait for me. When you allow me to set you up, when you consult with me about the decisions that you make, this is what happens. And so I packed my bags again. I moved from Baton Rouge to San Antonio. Then I moved from San Antonio to Dallas. And then I moved from Dallas to Norman, Oklahoma. I have been in Oklahoma since October of 2020. And to be honest, this was one of the best decisions I ever could have made. Just really feeling like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Really feeling like I'm operating in my purpose. And God is really setting me up for something great. All throughout last year, God showed me that every turn, settling would be detrimental to my destiny. And I have adopted that mindset. I refuse to settle for mediocrity. I refuse to settle for anything less than God's best. I refuse to settle for meaningless relationships and unpurposeful connections. I'm not settling, and you shouldn't either. Don't settle for unhappiness. Don't settle for mistreatment. Don't settle for mediocrity. Be intentional about everything it is that you do, and go after the things that you want. If God spoke it, it is so. So go get it. Now, this journey, it could be long, it could be dark, it could be rough, and for sure it could be lonely. But the motivation to keep going is the light on the other side of the darkness, and just knowing that there's prosperity on the other side of this. Everything that you need in order to make it there, everything you need in order to get to the place that God has for you, it's already inside of you. I want to wrap this up with one of my favorite analogies. When you think of a tea bag, when you take it out of the box, there's all these little herbs and leaves and all that kind of stuff in this little bag. You don't really see the full potential of the tea bag until it's put in hot water. Once it's put in hot water, the color of the water starts to change. There's this sweet aroma that you start to smell. And it's amazing because you never would have known what the contents of the tea bag were capable of until you put it in hot water. So when you find yourself in hot water, when there's adversity, when there's trials, when there's tribulations, when there's tough times, look at it from the perspective of, I am being exposed to me. Everything that God has put in me is now going to come out, and I'm going to see how strong I am. I'm going to see how smart I am. I'm going to see how innovative and how creative I am. You have everything inside of you that you need to be great. You were destined to be great. You're already great, and you are enough.
Don't you know you are enough? You're worth the love you're dreaming of.
Y'all, take a second, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for all the content that I have coming your way. I'm so excited. Remember, y'all, you are enough.